In today's episode, I want to talk about a subject that has been thrown around quite a bit lately, and that is the topic of toxic positivity. My name is Gia Lulich, author of Joyful Journey, a guide back to the wild self, and this is my self-empowerment series where I love to talk about tools that have helped me to reach my own potential and make this life as amazing as it can possibly be. Toxic positivity is the idea that we must constantly be happy and high. No matter what happens, we remain positive and optimistic. And of course, as we all know, life is full of peaks and valleys. We have downtime. We have times when we need to express negative emotions, which is, at least a few times a day. What toxic positivity is saying is that this movement of trying to be positive is resulting in people bypassing their real feelings and stifling their their true emotions and what is happening for them in the moment, which of course I agree is extremely destructive and not productive in the least. However, where this term toxic positivity is coming from is where people took this concept to the very, very extreme. When this idea came out that we need to be in a certain state to attract what we want into our lives, it was never said that people should be ignoring their emotions, that we should be stoic and we should never cry and we should always gloss over everything with something happy. That was never the actual teaching. The teaching was that things in life are going to happen that are going to be less than ideal and downright devastating. These things are going to happen. It is within our control, however, how we respond to that situation. Are we going to completely crumble and stay there? Or are we going to express our emotions in the moment, but then once the wave of emotion passes, we actually have a choice about how we want to view this situation, whether we want to extract a lesson from it, see if there are any opportunities in it. At the very least, we can look for some silver lining, no matter how small it is, and grab onto it for the sake of getting ourselves out of that emotional despair, which once again, the teaching never said don't express your emotions if you're feeling them. It just says that you have the power to make out of this situation what you want, what's beneficial to you, what's going to move you forward. And I have personally applied this my whole life, and in the last 5 to 10 years, very, very consciously, and it has changed my life. It has enabled me to extract lessons and richness out of every experience, and it has actually allowed me to let emotions pass through me with a sense of peace. This kind of practice of going through a circumstance and then, feeling what I need to be feeling, but then looking at that situation and thinking, how can I learn from this? How is this an opportunity in my life? How can I take this as a sign of my evolution, or that I'm stepping up, or that I'm being given another challenge, or a sign of growth? All of those things have really helped me to keep going. And, being conscious that life is always going to be ups and downs. That's just the way it is. This is why I think once you explain this teaching properly, then the term toxic positivity has no place. As a species, humans are programmed to be negative. There was a research study that was done, and out of 30 compliments that people were given, the 31st observation that was made about them was a criticism. And of course, people only walked away remembering the criticism and they ignored all of the compliments. Why is that? It goes back to evolution. That negative voice inside of our head that used to protect us from lions, from bears, from things attacking us, is now still active in our modern world, where it's kind of telling us that we should be scared of this, we should be scared of that. This is a threat, that's a threat. We should be, defensive towards this person, we should be defensive towards that. And a lot of the time, this voice that is constantly telling us to be careful, to be defensive, is actually just very deluded and is not based in reality. It's telling us to go into survival mode and be in fear in a situation that doesn't require us to do that in the least. For example, when you're public speaking, your body may react to that experience as though it's going to completely, you're going to die, something horrible is going to happen, but actually the circumstance is just you going up on a stage and speaking. I feel like this negative voice is really the dominant part of the human experience. And to call positivity toxic, or to even coin this term, is actually not helping, because we are trying to kind of come out of this age of fear, war, defensiveness, and trying to move into a more loving and compassionate and understanding world. Humanity as a species is more on the side of negative than looking at what's actually working in the world. And obviously, partly that's to do with the media that we consume. It's to do with, what we're bombarded with every day by advertisers telling us that we're not good enough, we need to be better. And the one thing that you will master in your life that will make everything better is to know how to extract lessons, opportunities, silver linings out of everything that life has to give you, because it's the only way to move forward. We've all seen people that get stuck in their circumstance. Because we're wired to be negative all the time, it's very, very easy to spiral. And if you've ever done self-development work, and if you've ever tried to sort of level up and evolve past your own limitations, you'll know that our emotions are really strong. Those limiting doubts we have about ourselves are really, really strong. And it's so easy to stay there. It's easy to stay there for decades. And I've seen it with my own eyes, where people are doing the self-work, but they are still not out of that space of being controlled by their negative feelings and emotions. It's because those have not been rewired to reflect something more positive. And it's precisely because of these terms like toxic positivity that they use that as an excuse to stay where they are. Which is why I just thought it was so important to make this video. I'm really, really curious to hear about your own opinions around toxic positivity, whether it is something that you've experienced, or just what you think of the whole theme. If you like material like this, go ahead and subscribe for more, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Ciao for now.